So I don't know how many videos I've made on John Jones and Tom Aspinall in total, let alone the last 2 weeks here. But this is the fight we are all waiting on. We had an international fight week announced. We have Ilya's lightweight debut announced. We know what Islam's doing. We know what JDM was doing. But the one division that has been a complete and utter mess is the heavyweight division, and that falls upon two parties, John Jones and the UFC. So we got Tom Aspinall taunting John Jones, talking about becoming a BMF champion, all kinds of stuff. And I want to focus this video solely on Tom Aspinall. We're not going to talk about what this fight means for John Jones. We're going to talk about Tom Aspinall, the position he's in, the age he is at, and what he can accomplish in his UFC career. So if that interests you, stick around. If you like the content, subscribe, all that stuff. We're close to 1,600 subs. Now, Tom Aspinall trolls John Jones with announcement piece. I'm fighting for a new belt. Tom Aspinall control with the best of them all. The UFC interim heavyweight champion and number one in the division in the MMA fighting global rankings. I just coughed into them like you're welcome. Had social media buzzing Monday with an Instagram post declaring heavyweight news coming soon. Immediately, fans began to speculate whether this meant Aspinall would finally be announced in a fight with undisputed champion John Jones, or perhaps a title defense against a different opponent. But Aspinall quickly shot down both possibilities. Now, we'll head over to the announcement. I don't know if the music in the video is copyright, but the article, the post, Tom's Instagram will be linked down below. He goes to write heavyweight news coming soon. Sorry guys, I'm fighting for a new belt at the interim BMF UFC heavyweight title. Living my best life. Well, you're not in Thailand, buddy. I don't think you're living your best life. Where are you riding on the random back of motorcyclists sniffing their hair, huh? You're not the real champion. That's real champion material. Anyways, um, he then says, UFC announced my fight, guys. Announced my fight, guys. Not me. And that's a difficult situation that I think both Tom and John are in. And people aren't. I get it. It is a lot to ask to give John Jones leeway, but you have to factor in how shit the organization is right now at promoting anything. They had to be fried to announce International Fight Week, and all we get is Dana White in a random hotel room. Um, the final thing he said here, the MMA guru official, and this is the big one. The man, the myth, the legend, the icon, the leader of the MMA community online, MMA guru, get the bucket and corner gloves on, son. I'm about to make my 37th defense of the interim title. Hashtag living my best life. We're gonna get fucking MMA guru in the corner. I hope this actually happens. And shout out to MMA Guru, man, going on Demetrius Johnson's podcast, training with DDP. He's laying his roots down, and as somebody trying to chase this, MMA Guru has been an inspiration of mine ever since I started watching him years ago. But back to this though. It's time for Tom Aspinall to act like he's the undisputed champion. I would drop the interim. If I was Tom Aspinall, I would just say, hey, I'm the undisputed champion. Francis Ngannou never got beat by John Jones. John Jones came back, beat Sarah Gone, who has since won a fight that he lost, and Tom Aspinall has beaten Volkov by finish, who beat Sarah Gone, which we're gonna get to Volkov. But Tom Aspinall needs to take off the gloves. Tom Aspinall needs to get dirty, and he needs to pick up on how John Jones is playing this. Because I feel like even if you are the biggest John Jones hater, and he gives you a lot of reasons to hate him, you have to admit, when it comes to the fight game, he is unmatched by majority of fighters. The only other fighter that has the same negotiation power and same leverage is Connor, is Chuck, is any other face of the UFC, and that's why he gets so many chances. Yeah. Now, do I want to go over this right after? Okay, fuck it, no. We're staying on Aspinall. I'm not organized. If you guys watch my channel, you know that, but that's the charm of this channel. So, as always, I want to apologize. Tom Aspinall. And this is very important, man. He has a record of 15-3. Yeah, he's not undefeated. Having a zero in MMA doesn't fucking mean shit. I'm sorry, I'm gonna get that right out of the way. What means shit is who you beat. And Tom Aspinall has literally beaten everybody but Gone and Jonathan Almeida. Which you guys know Jonathan Almeida, I'm a big fan of. He's another guy that's wickedly talented. I know he lost to Blade, so common opponent. Tom knocked out last year. In his last fight, which was nearly a year ago. In 2 months, it'll be a year since we've seen Tom Aspinall. And that is not good for a guy that was fighting twice a year. KO'd Pavlovich on the MSG card that John was supposed to be headlining. He tore his pec. Stipe didn't want to fight Tom. He wanted to fight for the undisputed title. And with everything that happened with Stipe and the UFC, he has every fucking right to. You know, I never hear it much. And if anything, I feel like most will agree. Nobody should hold what happened over the last 2 years to Stipe. Stipe had every right to come back for the title. Stipe got fucked over by the UFC before he became the greatest champion. They hated promoting him. They hated him having the title. They hated the fact that they had to give him that shot. And that's why I think they were so eager to get DC to move up. And I'm happy that DC moved up. We got one of the funnest heavyweight trilogies we've ever seen. But again, the a year in this sport is a lot. A year in this sport is, multiple title changes. Entire landscape of the UFC changes year by year. Look at the contenders. Look at the prospects that are, hyped up now. Comparing to who was being hyped up in 2024 and 2023. Who's around still? Not very many of them. But this is a guy you can't waste. This is a guy who has only made it to the second round. He's only made it to the second round in his entire career. Lost a heel hook, lost the 12-6 elbow. He has the 12-6 elbow loss. Like it's destiny for this fight to happen. But we know why John doesn't want to do it. It's a younger guy. It's a taller guy. 6'5". Usually comes in right at the max, if not right below it. Tom Aspinall needs to do one or two things. And I want to say this very clearly. These two options, which he should be doing both of these, give the UFC a deadline. Say, I want a shot at the undisputed belt by the end of the year, which I think his management has done. But I would stand very firm on that. If I don't get a shot or if I don't get promoted by the end of the year, we're going to have an issue. Tom Aspinall's leverage is different. Tom Aspinall, his leverage is potential. Jon Jones' leverage is, shit that has happened. His track record. I've had 28 fights. I've won them all except, the one to Matt Hamill. That's Jon's leverage. Tom needs to look at it as, hey, I'm probably top 5 biggest stars in this sport right now. I have one of the biggest followings on my YouTube. I've been on Pierce Morgan. I go on all these other channels. Like Tom Aspinall is my mom. My mom knows who Tom Aspinall is, and she doesn't know a fucking thing about MMA apart from my videos. Shout out, mom. But this is a guy you cannot waste. This is a guy that is a different specimen at heavyweight. Francis came in, he had unreal knockout power. Tom Aspinall has unreal. I don't know if his full name is Thomas. Maybe it is. I didn't mean to call him Thomas. I'm getting sidetracked. But for somebody like Tom Aspinall, with the power, the speed, the height, the grappling, like this is he's kind of like a bigger version of Cain Velasquez, in my opinion. Like a bigger, slightly slower version of Cain Velasquez. And you cannot waste it. The dude's 30 years old. Most heavyweights fight into their mid 40s. This guy could have an unreal run right now. He could be on, 2, 3, 4 title defenses. We could be seeing, and the other thing too, people don't look at is by Tom beating all these other contenders, we can phase out all these fucking heavyweights that don't have talent, that are clearly there because they're fat and they can hit hard. That is the only reason most of the heavyweights right now are at the top. Like, look at Taito Iwasa. Taito Iwasa, fan favorite, hilarious dude. I have nothing against him. But again, he's on like, what, a 5-6 fight losing streak, all by knockout. Derek Lewis is still around. I love Derek Lewis. Again, he's 42. He's kind of a win-win, lose-one fighter ever since he got his shot at DC. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna say everything I said in my other videos this week. It's fucking time. Enough is enough. I'm mainly talking to the UFC at this point because John Jones, as much as you hate it, can do whatever the fuck he wants, and the only people who can change that is Dana White. But they want to make sure they have an extra fight with John Jones in the back of their pocket for TV rights deals. They still have a Connor fight, which we are not going to get. Connor's not fighting in the cage again. The only time it was going to happen was when all that shit came out with the court thing. Didn't get announced then, won't happen now. He's buying OnlyFans. But it's the entire fucking heavyweight division. There's no hype up there. There's no spotlight on cards. Even when Volkov fought JON. And that was a good fight. Nobody cared. Well, no, that's the wrong. I don't mean nobody cared, but you know what I mean. It had no hype. We're not looking at it like, oh wow, this is really shaking up the division right now. Because again, they want to throw JON in there. They want to favor JON to get back at Francis. That's the reason they threw him against John Jones, even though we knew that John Jones would instantly grapple him. I don't fucking get it, man. I don't get it, but Tom, by the weird chance you see this video, and you watch it through. First of all, big fan. You're a legend. Second of all, you gotta fight. You gotta throw down your mandate of, if I'm not fighting for that unified title by X date, I'm done. You you know, I'm not saying walk away from your dream, but you have to put your foot down, man. We'll see. Again, I don't want to bombard my YouTube with just the same video over and over again. But this is a fight we want to see. This is the biggest heavyweight fight of all time. This is the greatest fighter of all time going up against his hardest test of his career. And it can shut a lot of people up. It can also shut up a lot of Jones fans. Get it done, Dana White, and start promoting fights again. UFC, make UFC great again. But that's it. Let me know, what do you think. Oh, I almost forgot the Volkov statement. So we're already at 18 minutes. I'm just gonna throw this shit in at the last little bit here. You guys saw my short today. Uh, Alexander Volkov came out and gave his comments on John Jones in the heavyweight division. He said, "As a fighter, I have a negative opinion about the delay of Jones Aspinall fight because my chances to compete for the championship title are shrinking, and time is running out. In other weight classes, there's a steady stream of fights. That's why I'm unhappy. I could have tested myself in a title fight long ago if it weren't for John Jones. Everyone is waiting. If I were in John Jones' position with his status, the goal of earning maximum money, and the desire to fight only when it suits him, I'd probably do the same. The issue isn't just John Jones, but the UFC's excessive loyalty, allowing him to behave this way. And this right here is what I was just saying. And this is the last little thing I want to leave here. And then I promise I'm getting it wrapped up here. What is the greatest of all time worth? I've said that in every video I've made on this. What is the greatest of all time mean? Does that mean that he can sit out a little while longer than everybody else? Yeah, makes sense. You know, if Michael Jordan wanted to sit out a couple games, nobody's going to argue with him. He wants it at his specific venue. Okay, makes sense. In this sport, he can do it. There's nothing, saying that he has to fight anywhere else. But again, it looks like the UFC is too scared to just say, hey, we're working on it. If not, this is a plan. They don't want to do it because they're scared of losing John Jones. And I think it has to do with saving this fight for for the next TV rights deal. But we'll see, man. Regardless, give Tom Aspinall his shot. Give him a fight. Stop keeping him on the shelf. This guy is early 30s. This is when he's making his money. Let him make his money. But let me know, what do you think about Tom Aspinall finally attacking John Jones? Finally playing the heel when, when he's needed to for a while. And I hope he continues it. I love the banter. I love the trolling that he's starting to do back at John Jones. But let me know what you think down below. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Later.